What is up, guys? It's your boy, Breaking News Cacus, and today, Bungie just dropped a brand new article called Reflecting on Lightfall Launch and Beyond, where they discuss a bunch of the changes they've made so far, as well as some pretty crazy changes coming in the new Season 21 that you will absolutely want to know about. And so, let's get started. First of all, Bungie talks about Guardian ranks. They were just introduced within Lightfall, and the reception has been middling to say the best. They do definitely provide new players with more direction in what activities to do and what to try out in order to get to 1 to rank 2 to rank 3, etc. But for a lot of veteran players starting out at rank 6 and then being asked to do things that they've kind of already done, and some of the requirements seem way more difficult than others, especially even at later ranks. So a lot of changes have already been made. The commendation objectives have been reduced significantly, lost sector completions have been moved, and so on. Now, longer term, planned for Season 21, returning players will now start at rank 5, and ranking up from 5 to 7 will be faster than it was to rank up from 6 to 7 at Lightfall launch. Rank renewal will be fast-tracked, so most players will have quickly renewed rank 7 by playing seasonal content, earning artifact power, completing seasonal challenges, and trying the newest exotic. They say we also plan on remixing ranks 6 to 11 to provide a better expression of skill between those ranks. Once these changes are out in the wild, we'll continue to monitor data and feedback. Okay, so interesting. But moving on from there, let's talk commendations. So, in their update on March 30th, they removed Guardian rank objectives that require players to give commendations from ranks 7 to 9. They further reduced the commendations objective requirement for Guardian ranks 7 to 9. They reduced Hawthorne's weekly powerful commendations reward from 20 all the way down to 5. They say in the coming weeks, we're planning additional updates to make giving and receiving commendations more meaningful, including updating eligibility for commendations based on activity participation or lack thereof. Interesting. Adding a new commendation, best dressed, so you can compliment people's fashion. And then starting in Season 21, objectives to receive leadership commendations in ranks 10 and 11 will be retroactive for the season. So raids and dungeons that you lead from day 1 will count towards your progress. There's still ways to go, to be honest, but these are some steps in the right direction. Moving on from there, we have a section on difficulty adjustments. Difficulty changed massively with the launch of Lightfall. Now, Master, Legend, all these different types of content will always put you below the power level of the enemies you're facing to increase the difficulty. So here's what Bungie is saying that they did on March 30th. For Legend and Master activities, the enemy HP scaler reduced by 10%. So this includes all non-raid and dungeon content within the Legend and Master monikers. So if you haven't played something like a Legend Lost Sector, since before March 30th, it is literally 10% easier. So definitely something to consider. And they've also scaled back the Avalon exotic quest as well, so that won't be as tough. Now, moving on from there, for Heist Battlegrounds, they say, we think our first Nightfall Battleground felt great on Hero, similar to how it played that first time running into it on Season 19. On Legend and Master, however, things were a little less clear. So for the Heist Battleground Mars, which remember is now in the Nightfall playlist, they've decreased how often combatant waves spawn on higher difficulties in the Towers phase. They've increased the map score multiplier to help players reach score goals without exploits. They've added an additional ammo crate. Other Heist Battleground changes include reducing the frequency and number of some combatant waves on all boss fights. They've reduced the health of the Death Tongue choristers. The Hive Ruins now have the same health on all difficulties, good change, thinning out the falling trip mines in Heist Battleground Moon. Now, moving on from there, guys, for Maw Patrol, definitely enemies actually hit pretty hard in that. They do say they've made some adjustments so far, increased the spawn rate of the Vex Strike Force event in the Vex Incursion Zone. The partition activities are now replayable each week after earning your initial Pinnacle Power reward. They've reduced the rate that the rank and file red bar enemies are replaced by tougher elite orange bar enemies, and they've reduced the spawn rate of turrets specifically on Ahimsa Park. In the future, certain patrols will be easier to complete as well. Then specifically for Terminal Overload, they say that the Terminal Overload Director node will now more reliably matchmake you with other players who are participating in the event. A lot of the time you just load in to be like solo, or like with people who haven't even started the event, so that was a bit weird. Moving on from there, for Lost Sectors, they say as Season 20 continues, and certainly at the start of Season 21, we feel both Legend and Master Lost Sectors will feel very approachable for regular players, and we aren't planning on making any difficulty changes specific to Lost Sectors at this time, aside from the 10% HB scaler that we already talked about. However, Lost Sectors are going to be far from the only place to farm exotic engrams. So let's move on from here, guys. They talk about Threshers being OP. Yeah, they fixed that. Vanguard scoring and reputation is interesting. They say, in a future patch, we will take a pass at low map score multipliers and individual objectives to make sure everything feels better. Specifically, Guardian ranks, Nightfall scoring objectives, and Legendaries of Eternity bounties, and they're going to add a throttle to prevent certain exploits as optimal score strategy. Okay, moving on from there, guys, let's talk exotic armor drop rates. So they say, when we built Legend Master Lost Sectors in Beyond Light, we envisioned two gameplay goals. The player should have a place to test their builds solo against endgame content, and the player should have a place to acquire new rolls of exotic armor with some amount of determinism. So over the past few months, especially with the changes to difficulty, those have gotten a lot more difficult. They say, again, as such, we've made some changes in a recent patch that you can see right here. They did increase the drop rates, but here is the massive change, guys. They say Lost Sectors aren't the only exotic source in town. In an upcoming update, the Vex Strike Force event in the Vex Incursion Zone will drop a new piece of exotic armor if you have any left to collect on a knockout list with no slot limits like Lost Sectors have. If you don't have any exotic armor left to collect, it will drop a random exotic roll. So I've only encountered this Vex Strike Force very rare public event one time. It did drop a guaranteed exotic reward for myself and everyone else within the activity, but now Bungie is saying, likely with the mid-season update, it will now drop new ones. So if you don't have a certain exotic helmet, like, it will guarantee drop that specific helmet that you don't have. That is super exciting. And again, it gives players another way to earn new exotic armor that isn't just solo Lost Sector. So big change there. But moving on from there, guys, let's talk new changes within Season 21. So first of all, we have new build crafting updates. So with Season 21, there's going to be 2 new armor mods added. Fantastic. Bungie, you should add armor mods every single season to change up the meta. But regardless, the first one is Powerful Attraction. When using your class ability, you collect all orbs of power within a radius determined by the number of copies of the mod you have equipped. Now, they do have a design note that says the request for a Seeking Orbs mod that would allow orbs to track you did not fall on deaf ears. However, they said because orbs are so common it would cause performance and latency issues, so understandable there. But they also have another new mod, Elemental Charges. So collecting these subclass collectible associated with your damage type. So Fire Sprites on Solar, Ionic Traces on Arc, Stasis Shards, Void Breaches has an escalating chance to grant you a stack of armor charge. On Strand, this is granted by destroying tangles. So this is another great change here. Like, a lot of people are now speccing into making Fire Sprites, Void Breaches, etc. So being able to get armor charged for getting those is a good addition. Additionally, they say we have a change coming to the Shoot to Loot weapon perk in Season 21. It can now shoot orbs of power in addition to ammo boxes. So now on higher level content, you can have a shoot to loot gun and you can blast an orb of power across the map to get all of your armor charged synergies. So massive value surge for the shoot to loot perk. And so potentially, if you get some rolls with shoot to loot, don't delete those, because again, those might be getting those are getting a lot better. And in addition, guys, there's going to be 3 new Strand Aspects coming to the 3 different classes. Titans are getting Flechette Storm, Hunter is getting Threaded Spectre, and Warlock is getting the Wanderer. So we're going to see what those do in Season 21. Now, moving on from there, they say that with perk refunds in Season 21, we're adding the ability to refund and apply individual artifact perks with a single click. It'll make build crafting a lot faster. Great. But moving on from there, for the seasonal ritual schedule, in week 1 of Season 21, we're planning to run Trials of Osiris, since we won't have a power raise of any type in Season 21. So if you get to the pinnacle power right now, that's also the pinnacle power for Season 21. Anyway, they say we can run trials earlier than usual with a reasonably level playing field. We're hoping this can be an ongoing change. If it's a week where no raid is launching, no Iron Banner is running, and no significant power climb is introduced, then they're going to try to run trials as early as possible. Interesting. Now, in week 4 of Season 21, we're aiming to make Grandmaster Nightfalls available. They say without the seasonal power climb and with the requirement level changes added, we can successfully launch Grandmasters earlier. That is really early. So basically a month after Season 21 launch, then Grandmasters will be going live. They say this is only for the weekly Grandmaster. The Conqueror Gilding node is planning to go open in week 7. So the first few Grandmasters, like, you don't get to select which one anymore. You are at the whim of the weekly Grandmaster. But also, huge change, guys. Huge change. Exotic armor focusing. So, as you can see right here, we're adding exotic armor focusing to Rahul in Season 21. So, all exotic engrams aside from drops from activities that reward exotics, so Lost Sectors, Vex Strike Force, Nightfalls, will no longer auto-decrypt. They will sit in your engram inventory and can be focused in 2 different tiers. So you can, as you can see here, get like a red war leg decryption. You can have advanced decryption, as you can see right here. So you can focus an exotic engram to a specific entitled release, so Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, the Witch Queen, etc. Just like now, exotics that came out alongside different seasonal releases are always included in the previous yearly entitlement. And the cost is 1 exotic engram, 1 ascendant shard, and 30,000 glimmer. But we also have, guys, as you can see, precision decryption. So this directly focuses the exotic armor you want. Therefore, it does have a higher cost, 1 exotic engram, 3 ascendant shards, 60,000 glimmer, and an exotic cipher. And we plan on raising the exotic cipher stack limit from 1 to 5 to compensate for this. So very, very interesting. The fact that you can focus the exact armor piece you want, even though it's a bit expensive, like, certainly that is going to matter for a lot of players. Now, they also say, guys, lastly, that there is more to come. They say we have several more updates that we think you'll love coming in Season 21. They say we're upgrading more than 15 of our lower performing exotic armors and rolling out balance changes to several others. We'll have some exciting news for players who enjoy improving their raid and dungeon exotic drop chances through triumphs. and we're taking a pass at team unfriendly Vanguard bounties requiring specific weapon or ability kills and more. So wow, some pretty big changes just revealed today. What do you guys think? Certainly I'm really excited for the exotic farming changes. Like, you're telling me I can just farm Vex Strike Force, I can specifically decode exotic armor. Like, this all seems so much better in actually getting the loot you want and eliminating a lot of the RNG BS. Guys, that is it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.